G'day everybody and welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host Drew Agnew and the doors, episode 257 are open. Hope you're going well, hope you're having a fantastic day. Because I'm on the beers, so I'm having a good day as well. It's been a big week, and especially since PAX Australia last week, you know, it's been a bit to get back to work, get back to reality. Getting back to work. It's shearing season at the moment, so every day is a long day. But I'm glad I can finish this one off with a beer. It's very nice to have a great Northern at the end of the day, sort of numb the pain a little bit. And by numb the pain, I don't mean mental pain. Look, if you've got issues like that, see a therapist, psychologist, something like that. But if you're just feeling a bit sore from a hard day's work, have a beer. Have something nice. Have a Milo. Some days I just like coming home having a nice Milo, a nice cup of milk. And yes, I am an adult. I'm 29 years old who just does drink straight milk. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise, that that's a weird thing, that that's just for kids. I'm all about drinking the straight milk. It's delicious. And I've only broken my bone once, and that was playing soccer. So I might have broken it 5 times if I hadn't been drinking all that milk. I'm just a big milk baby. I'm just full of milk, a big gut full of milk. But not today. It's a little bit too hot for milk. But it is refreshing. Anyway, I don't know where I'm getting at. But the beers are nice. It's not a Furphy. I know I might have let some of you guys down. It is a Great Northern, but it's a nice beer. Great Northerns are pretty easy drinking beer, but it's what the farmers gave us as well. So shout out to the farmers. Thanks for the Great Northerns. Cheers. So wherever you are, I do a bit of a toast to you. Whether you're listening to this early in the morning, late at night, whatever. This is the release day for Super Mario Wonder. What a absolutely exciting day today, as it's been something we've been looking forward to for the last few months since the announcement of the game. And I guess it's Nintendo's second biggest release of the year. I'll say the biggest would have been Tears of the Kingdom. That was the most anticipated game. But a new 2D Mario, really excited to get into it, give it a go, and play through it. It's going to be so much fun to have it at home and play through all the levels by myself, because I did get the opportunity to play it at PAX. So thank you very much to Nintendo Australia for actually participating in PAX this year. We're able to give it a go. So many people who went were able to get through the lines really quickly, only about a 20-minute wait, and you're able to jump into the game. And I played it a couple of times. I lined up and I played it with a group of people who I wasn't familiar with, but we had a lot of fun anyway. And it's just chaos, absolutely chaos playing it 2-player. But the opportunity, I actually got a chance to play it by myself as well, which was really cool because that's how I'm going to be playing it at home. Except I might be trying to entertain my son on the weekend. Because with Tears of the Kingdom, I basically asked my mother-in-law, can you look after Lucas? Just for those who don't know, Lucas is my 19-month-old son. So Zelda, I'm like, it would be great if you could take him for 5 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday, whatever it was. And they gave me a good chance just to sit down and enjoy Zelda. But both the grandparents at the moment are actually away this weekend, and Chantel will be at work. So I'm going to try. I'm going to see if this is going to work on the Friday night or the Saturday morning or whatever. When Lucas is eating his breakfast or something, I'm going to give him like a dummy controller with Yoshi, and see if see if it works. Like, if he just is entertained by moving the character left and right, and I'll just move us on ahead, and he can just be like a bubble and press buttons every now and again. The only thing is he really loves the menu button and the screenshot button. That's the only issue when it comes to giving him game controllers, because quite often in the lounge room we've got a PlayStation 5 controller just laying around. And that's fine. Give it a go, buddy. It's turned off, but he knows where the PlayStation button is. He knows where the menu button is. He knows where it all is. He doesn't just press X and leave the controller off. He knows how to turn it on. So it always disturbs gameplay. So playing when he's around is not an option. But Mario, it might be a suitable game to jump into. But it was actually really cool being able to play it at PAX. It was a nice experience, and being able to just feel how the game feels. I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to like a 2D platformer. And for Mario Wonder as well, when we're actually looking at a brand new era for 2D Mario, is super exciting. Like, you think back to, I guess, when 2D Mario was all the rage, obviously the last game on the Super Nintendo, Super Mario World, and that was what video games were at the time, and that moved on to Super Mario 64, and that became sort of the thing, and I think a lot of the gaming industry was like, all right, we've moved on, 2D is old technology, is left in the past, and Nintendo and PlayStation and all the rest sort of ignored it and moved on. But it wasn't really until New Super Mario Brothers where we were able to look back and bring those mechanics into a 2D game. And at the time, that was really exciting. I remember being so excited for all of those mechanics, the wall jumping, the triple jump, the ground stomp, all of that in the 2D Mario game. It was really cool. But for the next decade, that just continued. The exact same thing with a couple of other bells and whistles. New Super Mario Bros. Wii was multiplayer, which was a great addition. But then New Super Mario Bros. 2 for 3DS was just like, collect as many coins as you can. And, it was fun, but it was in the same year, which I actually forgot about until recently. I'm like, that's the exact same year where they released another game in the series, New Super Mario Bros. U, which was the same thing. And so we've had like 10 years of the exact same thing when it came to 2D Mario. And since the launch of the Wii U, we haven't seen a brand new game. And I know for those of you who haven't been, playing every game as it's released, you might have played New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on Switch recently. You would have played a lot of Super Mario Maker as well. So you might not be aching for 2D Mario, but personally for me, I'm feeling that itch to go back and play some games. And I've always been dreaming of a Mario game being reimagined quite like Rayman Legends or Rayman Origins, where it's just a beautiful hand-drawn art style, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So I'm really excited to jump into it and see what the game has to offer, see what all the hidden secrets are. The reviews have come out, they've been glowing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're listening to this while you're picking up the game or you're playing the game, hope you have a fantastic time. And it's just it's another great time to be a Nintendo fan. And Super Mario Bros. Wonder is kind of going to be the kickoff to all of that. It's going to be the kickoff to what's coming out for the rest of the year with Super Mario RPG, with WarioWare, a lot of stuff to really sort of get our teeth into. And what a phenomenal year it has been for Nintendo. Just first party, let alone the third party content coming to Switch. And if you have a PlayStation or Xbox as well, just everything that's been going on elsewhere. It's been, I've really got to look back at it and see whether it's going to be the best year in gaming. Like, I hold 2017 at such a high regard. And not only because of the games that were coming out, but because of like the just my favorite games, and just the amazing titles that came out. Like, just three that off the top of my head, just, obviously Mario and Zelda, they were the biggest ones, but also like Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush was just like a niche little PlayStation Vita game, and it got a full-blown sequel on PlayStation 4. And I never dreamed of getting that game, but we got it, and it was amazing, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Let alone Horizon and a bunch of other stuff that year. It's just, it's been absolutely fantastic. So looking back on this year, I don't know if I have any games like that apart from Tears of the Kingdom that have just been like, whoa, holy crap, that's awesome. So yeah, when we look back on it, I guess we'll figure it out. But I've been playing like a bunch of indie games and a bunch of other experiences this year, which I've really enjoyed. This has been one of my favorite years of gaming, not just for releases, but just for what I've been playing. It's really cool. But as far as Mario Wonder goes, I'm really looking forward to just like going and seeing what the levels have to offer, but also that new badge mechanic. I got to play around with that a little bit in the demo provided at PAX Australia. And what you're able to do with those badges is going to completely change the game for speedrunners, Twitch streamers. It's going to be interesting just from seeing people perform on live streams and YouTube content and stuff like that. But to play it as well, put your own little challenges out there and even badges that help you if you're not that good at the game as well. And it's going to be awesome because one of the badges I used, or I think it was like automatically set, was just using the R bumper to like put out your hat so you use it to glide down. So that was one of the badges. And That was probably one of my favourite ones. But there's like one that makes you go faster, which was going to be insane for speedrunners. What were some other ones? There was like the wall jump. When you do like a wall jump, you don't just go hop hop. Like your second jump is like it kicks you off, which is really cool. And the challenges that actually allow you to get those badges as well. You do different challenges throughout the game that give you those badges if you're able to complete that particular challenge. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Kirby games. Forgotten Land. Forgot the name of the game. I've been playing a bit of Deluxe recently, so I was thinking about that. But yeah, it's sort of when you do little challenges. But in Kirby, you don't really get anything. You just get like a bit of a check mark checked off. But in Mario, you actually get like a badge that you can utilize in other levels. So it's just a great time to be a Nintendo fan. I can't wait to get into it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I must say, got to get my phone up for this. I've got to check out some of the reviews. Just some of the reviews that came out. It's always interesting when it comes to like a Mario game or a Zelda game getting reviews. For Tears of the Kingdom, I'm like, if it gets 9s, in some ways it might be a little bit I don't know what I was trying to say. I was going to say disembarrassing or something. That's not even the word, Drew. I haven't had that many beers. I've had like one and a neck of this stubby. So that's no excuse there. That's just my brain. But yeah, if Zelda got 9s, for example, it would have been a bit disappointing. That would have been like, oh look, it's more Zelda, it's great, but yeah, it's more of what you expected from, I guess, a sequel to Tears of the King. Oh, sorry, Breath of the Wild. But Tears of the Kingdom just blew people away with how much better it was than Breath of the Wild, and people just did not expect how much of an improvement that game would be. Myself included, I was just absolutely amazed with the game, and it's just an absolutely phenomenal thing. So when it came out with 10 out of 10s, it's like awesome. Like, you know, it's done what it's needed to do, and it's a little bit expected in some ways. But when it came to like what the review scores will be for Mario, I was a little bit like, I wonder, because, and that was not meant to be a pun, but I really do wonder what the reviews will be for a 2D Mario game. I've got sort of no expectations because we haven't really seen a brand new take on 2D Mario for like the better half of 15 years, going up to like, a long time. Like, it would have been like, obviously New Super Mario Brothers, I would say DS and Wii, you should give them the respect they deserve. They're good games. They did new things at the time, especially DS. But then it was a little, you could tell that they just made a couple more for the next lot of systems, because why not? They sell a lot, but there was no innovation when it came to 2D Mario. So when you're seeing what Mario Wonder's doing with everything, with the art style, with the different characters, with even just like the mechanic of the Wonder Seed, and just going absolutely crazy with different mechanics and different levels, it's like, are they going to really pull this off? Is it going to be an amazing game? Is it going to really impress Mario fans? Is it going to live up to Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy? Is it going to be the next Mario World? Is it going to be on that level? Or is it going to be an improvement from New Super Mario Bros. U, for example? Which, that is like the bare minimum I would kind of expect at this point. But it seems like it's getting very good reviews, and even to the point where I kind of don't believe it. Because in some ways, like, I think sometimes Nintendo gets the benefit of the doubt. It gets a bit of a, not even a bump, but how can you review a Mario game and be like, oh look, it's anything less than an 8 at some point? Because they are great games. It's just you might be bored of them. You might be sick of them. They might not be your thing. They might be a little bit too simple if you're into like Baldur's Gate 3 or big RPGs. It just might not be your cup of tea. But when the reviews come out for like, 10 out of 10, I'm like, it makes me a little bit more skeptical. But I had it here, but a bunch of places have been giving it like 10 out of 10. And IGN and GameSpot have given it a 9 out of 10. So I can't say anything till I've actually played through the game myself, but 10 out of 10 to me is just like, it's a masterpiece. That's what IGN would classify it as. It's not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination, because no game is perfect. No, art is perfect. It's just the eye of the beholder. So, it's up to people to interpret that ever how they wish. But 10 out of 10, like, that leaves like no room for, well, not necessarily. I was going to say it leaves no room for improvement, but you can say that with Breath of the Wild too, and that obviously left a room for improvement there. But it got 10 out of 10 from Eurogamer, Metro, Daily Mirror, CG Magazine, VGC. We got this covered. Yeah, I don't know the other ones, so I won't say them. But plenty of places giving it 10 out of 10. And my source for this is Stealth on Twitter, Stealth40k. So thank you very much for that, Stealth. But then IGN, GameSpot, Destructoid, Checkpoint gave it a 9, and Dextro gave it an 8. And there's many more reviews obviously out there. And our friend over at player2.net, Paul James, gave it a A- on their score as well. So, take you back to school and sort of relive those memories. But yeah, it's I'm finding it a little bit hard to believe it's that good. You know what I mean? Like, I expect it to be awesome and fantastic, and I've said my praises here, how much I'm looking forward to it. But like 10 out of 10, this is the new step for 2D Mario, and it lives up to the hype of Super Mario World and Mario Brothers 3. Don't know about that, but that's what people are saying, and we will see if that lives up to the hype. Because for me, I just want like every level to be like just memorable and like the wonder seed. And when I'm talking about it after a week or two, talking to friends, be like, "Oh, do you remember this level where this wonder seed just did this to us and everything went crazy?" Because in some ways, like Mario Galaxy and Mario Odyssey do give you those moments where it's like, wow. Like every single world, like particular moons as well, where it just surprises you when you find them. So I hope we get those moments from this game. So you might be able to tell me too. You might be listening to this 2 hours into the game, saying, "Yes, it's very good, Drew, very good." But it's going to be awesome too if you've got family with like young kids and that. I cannot wait to see if my son can play it, or just see if it entertains him for 10 minutes. That'll be a plus. That'd be fantastic. It actually reminds me a little bit of Detective Pikachu Returns. So let's talk a little bit about that. So I have not started the game yet. I received the game from Nintendo Australia, received the code from them while I was at PAX. So thank you very much to the team there. But just being like busy at work and just getting back into the daily flow of family and all that stuff. Even to the point where I'm recording this podcast out in the farm, because goodness gracious, if I try and do it in the house, that's a tough job. That's hard. So I'm out on the Share and Shed platform at the moment. But I have not started Detective Pikachu yet. When I was staying in Melbourne, I shared a motel room with Josh, and he started playing the game as well. And I was just sitting there sort of watching maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it. And it looks really boring. I got to admit, it looks so boring, I could not even start to think. With all the games available to me that I need to play for Game of the Year, or goodness gracious, at least just for a bit of fun, I couldn't bring myself to play it. It looks so boring. And look, I think we sort of take for granted that Nintendo games, they are family games. They are games that I can enjoy, that a 40-year-old can enjoy, but also like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, 5-year-old can enjoy. They make family games for families that people can play together and people can share. That's why their games are so big, because their demographic just goes across everybody. But Detective Pikachu, it's a kid's game. It's not a family game. It's a kid's game for kids. It's a story written for kids. It's gameplay written for kids. It's puzzles and sort of thinking logic that is made for kids, which is fine. And for me, I cannot wait to play something like that with Lucas, where, he's got the controller, or maybe I have the controller, and I'm like, oh, look, like, mate, where do you think this goes? Or what do you think the answer for this is? And, stuff like that. And he's like thinking about it, and he says, oh, Dad, press that one. Yeah, sure, mate. And it's just like a great look into the world of Pokemon for somebody who's younger. So I cannot wait to play it, but I want my son to grow up a little bit. But I probably should play at least a little bit of it this year. I don't know. That's the thing. If I leave it, I won't get back to it. Because honestly, I probably would prefer to play WarioWare or yeah, just any other Nintendo game apart from maybe Fire Emblem or something. I don't know if he'll be that nerdy that young. You know, it's like, Dad, let's play a strategy game. I'm like, my God, what have I bred? I wasn't playing Fire Emblem when I was young. I was clicking away at Pokemon. I wasn't clicking away at Pokemon until I was 9 years old. I was learning about the type disadvantages and advantages and what items were and hold items and natures, what they did to stats. And maybe a few years later, I'm like, what are these IVs, these independent values? I wasn't doing that. So that's not going to be naturally bred into my son. And I'll tell you what, he's not getting it from my wife's side. I'll tell you what, he won't be interested in games whatsoever if he gets it from my wife's side. Let's hope he gets it from my side. So, he loves Spider-Man, though. He's a big Spider-Man fan. He likes me playing that. It's just when he's punching the crap out of out of somebody. Don't know if you can watch that. Don't know if that's a good thing to show a kid. Probably not. Yeah. So, yeah, Detective Pikachu, not on the list just yet. But will I get to it? I want to get to it. I do want to get to it. I was thinking about like what I'm going to play this week because I'm really not. I really wasn't sure what I should play. I'm so excited for Mario Wonder and Spider-Man 2. Oh God, my two most anticipated games this year. Well, apart from Tears of the Kingdom, that was obviously the bigger one, but yeah, definitely some of my most anticipated games. And they came out the same day, so I've pre-ordered Spider-Man, so I've got that downloaded. And yeah, I'm hit up to receive a code from Nintendo for Mario Wonder. So yeah, once again, thank you very much to Nintendo Australia. So yeah, I'll be downloading that. So maybe don't know what I'll do first. I think I want to get through Mario Wonder like relatively briskly over the weekend, really experience it, have fun with it, and then go back and do the secrets and that, and then chip away at the story for Spider-Man over the course of a couple of weeks type of thing. I think that's how I want to tackle it, but pretty keen to find out like what you guys are actually thinking of doing if you're playing both. If you're playing Spider-Man, Mario Wonder, are you going to chip away for a particular game? You're going to smash through another one? Or are you playing something else? I'd love to hear in the YouTube comments over at youtube.com/iDruby what you're thinking of playing. If you're going to play another game, goodness gracious. Don't miss out on those. They're going to be fun times. But maybe you actually don't own a Switch or a PlayStation. You just have an Xbox and you're listening to this podcast for God knows what reason. Maybe you found it and you're just like, look at this young man talking to himself at a sharing shed. I'll listen to this. Well, I'll say to you, you should play, what can you play? Forza Horizon. No, not Forza Horizon. Forza Motorsport. I got that downloading at the moment. That's on Game Pass. Really looking forward to playing that. Big Forza fan, but I haven't really gotten into motorsport. It's been so long since the last one, so I've just been playing a lot of Horizon, which is very good. But anyway, don't have to cater to you Xbox people. We don't do that here. Well, we do actually. We do that a lot here. I've been playing a lot of Xbox, including some games that I've been playing as well. Actually, a lot are on Game Pass. So I guess that moves us into what do I call this? iDruby's 2023 Gaming Challenge. And this is where I'm aiming to beat as many games as I can in the year of 2023. I did have a number in mind, but I don't think I'll hit that. But we're going pretty well. I think I'm at 36 games completed. That's really good. That's really good for me. Good on you. Good on you, Drew. Pat on the back for Drew. Well done. So the first game I want to talk about is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. And I've got this game when it came out in March. Well, actually, at the end of February. So the 28th of February it came out. Now I think about it, because it came out the same day as Octopath Traveler 2 and Dead Space. I think it was Dead Space. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah. Dead Space. Yeah, don't have to remember those horrific memories. But yeah, Kirby, I finally got through it. It was one of those games I was just chipping away at. But, Kirby is a relatively simple platformer game. So when I'm getting through it, it is, pretty simple. So it just didn't hold my attention for over an hour. It's one of those things I pick up the Switch, do a level or two. But even though that it's not that long a game, it did take me forever at that rate. So I did have to put my foot down the accelerator just a little bit and get through the game. And it's a lot of fun. It's another game that I really enjoy playing with Lucas, playing with like my family, things like that. But for me at 29 years old, just chipping away by myself, I think there could be more fun and enjoyment come from it if you are somebody with a family or maybe somebody who's a little bit younger. But ultimately, I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a great game, and I really enjoyed sort of the story in it. I didn't play it originally on Wii. This was a game that came out on Wii, and I was surprised just that this isn't just a typical generic Kirby game. There's a lot of love, attention to detail in it. Just the levels, they're actually quite long as well as you're getting through them. It'll take a little bit to get through each level, which I do really appreciate. The power-ups are great. I love like the brand new abilities added to it, including like that sort of not like a mech from Planet. Well, maybe it was a mech from Planet Robobot. I'm not quite sure, but there's like a mech power up and a bunch of other stuff which I really enjoyed. And there was a sort of a twist in the story, which actually caught me off guard. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, huh, there you go. So I don't want to say any more. It's probably obvious if you point it out even a little bit, but there was a twist in the story. I'm like, huh, there you go. Didn't see that coming. So I really enjoyed that. And the epilogue as well. There's an epilogue added just for the deluxe version where you play as, I forgot the name of it. What's his name? Magoli? I'm trying to like memorize the word, but I can't quite remember. But you play as one of the, I guess, the main characters that you don't have access to in the main game. And you're looking to get your powers back. And it's not like Kirby where he just sucks up things and gets his powers back. You've got to go and earn them from beating bosses. And I actually really enjoyed this mechanic as you're going through. It's only like it's about like a 2-hour epilogue. And I actually kind of enjoyed just sort of the loop of doing the levels, getting currency, beating the bosses, being able to buy back your abilities. And as you go on as well, you can upgrade them so they get stronger and stronger. And by the end of the game, like you're just like, you've got your powers back, you're souped up, and you're just destroying stuff. Because like originally you can't even jump, you're just like helpless. But as you go through, you've got like, all these projectiles and everything. It's really cool. So I really do actually rate the game. If you're in the mood for a 2D Kirby, if you really enjoyed Forgotten Land, I would say give this a go, because for me with Kirby Star Allies in 2017, or the start of 2018, I gave that one a miss. It looked like, just another Kirby game. Looked a little bit boring in some ways, and just like the $80 price tag. It was pretty easy for me to give it a miss, but I do wonder if I missed something special there, because this game was special, and I do think this game looked a lot more appealing than Star Allies, but it was a great game to play through. So definitely give it a rate if you've got a new love of Kirby after last year. So give it a go. Next up is Beacon Pines. And I played this one on Xbox Game Pass. I played it on the ROG Ally, as well as the Xbox Series S and X. So I jumped between like multiple consoles, and I just got to say, like the cloud save system on Xbox is just sublime. It works so well, and don't have to think about it. Just loads it up. And I remember like one night just shut off the Xbox and jumped straight on the ROG, and I just went to bed and just started playing it just from where I was. It was amazing. So big shout out to them. It's a big change if you're putting save files between Nintendo Switch consoles. I'll tell you that. But Beacon Pines, it was leaving Xbox Game Pass. So now that now when I'm talking about this, it is not on Game Pass. And it's a shame because it's been on there for about a year, I believe. It came out late last year in September. So it's a perfect Game Pass game. Takes about 8 hours to complete or something like that. And I had no idea what the game was, but it had a beautiful hand-drawn art style. I'm a big sucker for that. Big, cute characters as well. And I'm like, I'll give this a go, especially, of course, on Game Pass. And when I booted up the game, what else? Got Corels flying over. They're a bit loud. I'm recording the podcast here, guys. Otherwise, I'll have to get out and bloody shoo you off. Bloody hell. So I had no idea what the game was about. And I booted up the game, and I'm just sort of greeted with just, like I said, just a beautiful art style. And what I was really surprised was just how it automatically just sucked me. Well, actually, it didn't suck me in straight away. It took a little bit to get started, just like any narrative does. But essentially what you're doing in this game is it's a story-based game. You've got somebody who's reading a story, and you're going from page to page. And in this story, you can move around, you can explore the town of Beacon Pines, talking to different characters, and as the story progresses, you come like against these different paths in the story. And it's not like your typical like, choose your own adventure, and at the end of the game there's like 5 different endings you can get. there's as you're doing different things in the world, you could be interacting with items, you could be talking to people, you could be doing certain actions, and you will get a certain word that you can use in your, I guess, your repertoire. And you'll have certain sort of choices to make, and you can use those words as you progress throughout the story. And what makes this super interesting, like I said, it doesn't change the story, but if you go down a certain path of the narrative, it'll get to a point where you get a word, and then you can go back to this other point and use that word that you got through this other path to allow you to go down the other path of the narrative. And it does that quite a few times. And it's really interesting because this is a story that there is something afoot in Beacon Pines. You and your friends basically try to uncover what's going on, what the mystery is, what's happening behind the scenes. And as you're exploring these different narrative paths, you're learning different things in each one. It never sort of repeats itself, which is really interesting. And a few hours into the game, I was really captivated. Like all of these sort of different characters, how they interact with each other, if different things happen. There's a certain point in the game at the very start, for example, where you go down a path. You're going into this strange building, and because of the events that happened before, your friend cannot come with you because they basically get sent home. They get grounded. So you go by yourself. If you go by yourself, you end up, you could get captured, and you can, I guess, get a game over screen. But if you do that differently, you can have your friend go with you, and then you get a different word that you can use back at that other point, and then that can take you on another journey, and you learn more things about everything that's going on. So this was a fantastic game. It really sort of impressed me, and I'm really happy that I was able to play it before it left Game Pass. And I see that it goes on sale quite a bit on Switch as well. At the time it was leaving Game Pass, it was like 50% off. It was $16 on the eShop. So definitely add it to your wish list if you're into stories, if you're into stuff that's a little bit different, if you're into just games that have just really attention to detail on every sort of part of their narrative. It was a great game. It really was. So give Beacon Pines a look at, because I heard a little bit about it, like maybe late last year, and I think that was like the buzz because of it was on Game Pass. But as far as like the indie sort of, I guess, indie scene, I haven't heard about it all that much. So definitely give it a look at. It was awesome. What the hell's happened here? I think on my phone I hit the microphone button, so it literally put everything I just said to text. Interesting. And I guess on the other end of the spectrum, I played another game on Xbox Game Pass called Bramble the Mountain King. And this was another game on Xbox Game Pass. I'm like, I got no idea what this game is, but I'll give it a go. And what's really cool about Xbox Game Pass for PC, if you click on the game, you go to the bottom, it actually has like how long to beat built into the app itself. So I went in there and I see that it was like a 4-hour game. I'm like, beautiful, a nice narrative adventure. Looked at some screenshots. There was a boy in a forest. There was gnomes. There's a bit of giggling going on. I could see some like scary giants that you come across. I'm like, oh, I'm all about that. It sort of gives Little Nightmares vibes a little bit in some of the scenes. So why not? Give it a go. Give it a download. It's not that big a deal. 4-hour game. I'll get that finished in a couple of sittings, or maybe one big sitting if I feel that sadistic. But this was a tough one for me to play, and not only because of maybe my enjoyment of the game, maybe not just because of some of the mechanics that it throws at you, and they're a little bit iffy, but also just the subject matter of this game. And I will go into it. It is very dark. I can't really say anything that's much darker, really, than what the subject matter of one particular part of this game was. But you're a little boy, you wake up, your sister's gone. So you go out the window, you go into the forest. You go into the forest that your mother tells you never, ever to go in. But you do it anyway. And it's very much just like you're controlling a little boy in an isometric view. Very beautiful game, very nice graphics. And looking at the summary of the game, if you go on to the eShop or anything like that, that's one of the marketing points. It was like, oh, beautiful 3D graphics. I'm like, it's a very nice looking game, but you compare it to AAA, or not even a AAA game, but you compare it to some other games that might not hold up that well. But the environments, yes, they do look very nice. Like I said, I played on the ROG Ally for the most part, so I can't talk exactly to what it looks like on Switch. I would assume it doesn't look quite as nice. But you go into the forest, you're doing little puzzles here and there. You have this basic ability you find early in the game where it's like a glowing orb. You can use it to throw, to interact with items in the distance, which is pretty interesting. That opens up some different mechanics for doing different puzzles, interacting with enemies, all of that type of stuff. But for the most part, you're doing stealth, you're avoiding enemies, you're running away, you're doing all of that. So to start off with, I was enjoying the game quite a lot, just, going through, coming across different areas. And in my first sitting, I came across this little town with a bunch of gnomes, and they're all giggling. They sound like little children. I'm like, it's kind of creepy, but it's also a little bit unsettling. And I think that's what they're going for. And I was quite enjoying it. And then you come across like this big giant, and he's he basically, like, if you get caught by him, he like eats you. Like, he just bites you in half. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a death scene. So a lot of these monsters, which I went and had a look at afterwards. I'm like, what is this game? So, because I literally had no idea what the game was about. I went and had a look at it after, and the game is based on Nordic sort of monsters and all of that, which is pretty interesting. And what I liked the most about this game is you come across like this big monster. So you come across, for example, this disgusting swamp monster, and he's sitting in the middle of the lake, and you can see him out in the distance, and your character's up close to the screen. And what actually happens, he does like a big strum on his like ukulele, and it sends out a shockwave. If you get hit by that shockwave, it kills you. It like kills you. It like kills you. It really kills you. And I'm like, that's interesting. Like, what is that? What is he doing here? And you complete the sequence. He sees you. You run away from him, and you get back to a safe area. And when you get back to that safe area, there's a book. So there's like books for the collectibles in the game. And when you get there, you can actually read the story, all the backstory of this monster. And for this particular monster, it was this musician who was bullied in his village, and he wanted revenge on people. So he basically played his ukulele or guitar, or I think it was a ukulele, played it and made people dance until they wore down their feet to their ankles and they died. And then he ran away and lived in the swamp forever. I don't know. It's a really strange, sadistic story. This is what this game is just full of. I'm like, that is actually really creepy and really interesting. So that was one of my favorite parts of the game, is getting like the backstory for these really disgusting monsters. But the subject matter of one particular area is one that got me. I hit way too close to home, and I was just not expecting it. And it wasn't until afterwards I'm like, what's this game rated? And I went out, look, it's a hard R. It's a hard R, 18 plus. Maybe it should be 29 plus. Maybe I shouldn't be playing it either. But get to this swamp, and you can hear like babies crying. Like, what's going on here? And like there's this witch who's like running away from you, and you're jumping over these boards over the water. You get to this house that's lit up in the background, and you're like, oh god, I don't want to go in there, but the game is basically saying to make progress, you've got to go in there. So you go through the door, you do a bit of a puzzle, you unlock a door, and you can see like this witch doing this, I guess, sacrificing like a young infant baby. And I'm like, what the fuck have I got? What am I playing? Like, I had no idea when it was going to go to this point. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Because I'm just sitting in bed, and I've got the ROG Ally and the volume's on. You just hear like this, baby's crying, and Chantel's next to me in bed. She's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. And there's some scenes there that were a little bit too much for me. And like, there's a boss fight there where you verse like a midwife who's, been sacrificing kids, and then after that boss fight, you just find a dead baby, and then like your protagonist is a young boy, and he just picks it up and hugs it and cries. I'm like, what the fuck? I've never played a game so fucked up in my life. Like seriously, I'm a Nintendo podcaster. I play Nintendo games. I'm like, oh, Fire Emblem, and there was moments in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom that really tugged at my heartstrings. I'm like, I'm playing a game here that's killing kids. Oh, Jesus Christ. So yeah, that honestly that was a little bit too much for me. I got to admit, like especially like having a kid pretty much that age, if not like a little bit older now. Yeah, that was way too much. I cried. That sucked. And I played it like pretty much because I haven't recorded the show in a while. I played that not long after I finished Dead Space. So I'm playing Dead Space. I hate this. I hate getting screamed at. But I'm playing this other game where babies are getting sacrificed. I'm like, what am I doing? So, in other words, yes, I need Mario Wonder to give me a cleanse. Play some Mario and Spider-Man. What could go wrong? If I get to the end of Mario and I don't know, baby Mario has to be sacrificed or something, I'm like, Jesus Christ. What's going on with video games these days? So, we beat it though. But that subject matter wasn't... So that made me sad, but I also got very frustrated because about halfway through the game, they try to add in, like, boss fights to the game. And typically, before it's, like, doing stealth, it's running away, it's doing puzzles. But then halfway, you're versing, like, this... I forgot exactly what she was, but she was basically this mysterious woman who lures men out. She's beautiful, whatever. She lures men out. She kills them and then she uses them as a power source. So yeah, that's pretty messed up. But then you've got to like fight her, and they've got to like hide behind trees, and then you've got to use that orb which I mentioned earlier to like hit certain things on trees, and they hit her, and it's like a whole boss sequence. You run up to her and then like do the final blow on the back. Like there's 3 different phases of the boss, and the mechanics just really do not hold up. And the final boss as well, which I won't spoil if you do plan on playing the game, if you love some sacrificial baby simulators. But yeah, the mechanics just do not hold up for that type of thing. It worked great for the puzzles, for the stealth, but did not hold up for that aspect. So yeah, that's Bramble the Mountain King. You can play it on Switch. I played it through Game Pass. If you want to give it a go on Game Pass if you have one of those systems. If you don't know, play Mario Wonder. Oh, Christ, I was just shaking my head like, what am I doing? And my biggest mistake too was like telling Chantel. I had to get off my chest what was happening in this video game I was playing on my handheld. And she was like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think anything's wrong with me in that fact. I did enjoy it, but some of you guys might be a lot more into horror than I am. I just was not into horror. It's not my cup of tea. It's just it's not what I'm about. So it is what it is. But that pretty much brings us to the end of the show. I just want to go through a bit of a Guru Geek Out this week, just to give a bit of a tribute to my late friend Bobby Paul's a Nintendo Guru, and just give a shout out to my good friend Wackojacko. It was his birthday this week, and I just want to say happy birthday, mate, and I appreciate everything you do here at the House of Mario, just in the Discord, having a bit of a chat and, supporting the show over the last few years. So thank you very much. Hope you had a great day with you and the young one and the missus. Hope it was a fantastic day. And it's a good one. And you can go and check out Wackojacko's content as well. He's got a YouTube channel, all of that. His own podcast. Was it The Average Blokes? Yeah, you're above average, mate. You're all right, mate. You're above average. Bluv. See, the thing is, I accidentally said above, but then I went to like just make a joke of it, and I just said above again. So it just sounds like I've just fucked it up twice. So I don't know if that's what I was going for, but that's what I was going for. But yeah, I think the day has gotten to me, the heat's gotten to me. Maybe the beer's got me to me as well. I don't know. But everybody, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario, episode 257. If you enjoy the show, go and check it out on podcast services on YouTube, all of that fun stuff. And I really do appreciate your time here. It means a lot to me. I love doing the podcast. And maybe going forward, I'll try and hit weekly, but it might be going fortnightly as well. Just giving a bit of a warning for you guys who are, supporters of the show, who do listen. Might be going fortnightly just for the fact of me being able to fit it in. But hopefully I have a lot more opportunities like this. I always sort of carry my backpack and the camera with me, so I can do it if I have an hour here or there. So hopefully that will work out over the next couple of weeks. But we're only like 2 weeks into sharing and I'm already like, Jesus Christ. I need a rest. I need a holiday. Take me away. Nah. Can't have a holiday yet. Got to earn the money to have the holiday. It's chicken and egg, isn't it? Chicken and the egg. But until next time, the doors to the House of Mario, they're closed. I'll catch you later. The House of Mario, a Nintendo podcast, is recorded in the southeast of South Australia. It is produced by me, Drew Agnew, and is supported by my kind and generous housemates at patreon.com/iDrewby. Call in for my behind-the-scenes podcast, Secret Recordings, and Heaps Good, the South Aussie take on a conversational show with my good friend Josh of Nintendvania. A huge shout out to the legends who support me at the iDrewby Patreon Mega Feed tier or higher on Patreon, including Brendan Myers, Oliver Chaston, Samuel Hay, DJ, and Lemonade. Let's continue to make passionate Nintendo content as we climb the stairs to 300. Thank you.